Today marks 1633rd day of daily lessons, daily reflections. And today I want to speak about one analogy. And from my perspective, it's a beautiful analogy. Maybe someone already thought about it, but I think that you probably heard that all experiences are neutral. There's no bad or good. We make a meaning of experience. And I thought about it for a second or uh, second or two, and I reflected that every single experience that we have in our lives is material. What kind of material? And of course, we can really decide by ourselves what it means. But like, it could be like, did you have experience that was very painful? So experience that bring pain. Maybe you lost a loved one. It could be that's a grief, a pain, emotional hurt. And I was thinking about that in life, we're building a house, a house of life. And that house of life needs to be built in a lot of different materials. You need steel, you need wood, you need water, you need some maybe clay, maybe bricks. There are so many different materials that are required to really build an actual house, and I think that's a house internally as well. And when I reflect on that, is that if you have exactly the same experience over and over again, that means that you have one type of material, but you're not able to build a house just with one material. And I was thinking that failure could be as well. Like, let's say that failure is steel. That means that the more a person is failing theoretically, if in a good way, if failing forward, is developing, growing, and still failing, it means that the person is bringing so much steel material, just as analogy, steel material. So that means he's able to build a massive structures. He's able to build high-rises internally because he has materials to do so. Because a person who is not building anything, not trying, not experiencing, not failing, now there is no materials to build anything. And that's like people who said it, okay, like I failed so much, that's why I succeeded, because they have so much material to work with. Now, not every single person who fails a lot will build structures for high-rise. Some people who will fail a lot will decide to really build walls around them and not allow anyone in. And I think that's again our choice is when we failed, when we receive that material, building material, what we will do with it. We will build walls around us and not go and experience life again because we don't want to experience the same feeling because we attached negative negative emotion, negative meaning to the experience because we already discussed that all the experience are neutral, but we put some meaning to it, and that meaning brings emotions. Knowing that now, when we going through life, and I think that again, every single person will have a different kind of reflection on that because what kind of experiences do they have in life, and what kind of experience would they like to have in my life, and what kind of building materials that could bring. And I already shared that failure could be steel, pain, failure could be steel. And I was thinking that like, what are the other materials that I could share with you that could be beneficial to really just bring more ideas how to think about your experiences? Is that sometimes when you think about what is necessary loneliness. Loneliness is a sandpaper, so that means there's a lot of times we had hard edges, and during reflection, awareness times, we're able to really clean those edges, making sure that it be a smooth. Because if you do not spend time on ourselves, we'll be very hard edged, and sometimes it's not good. And those edges is basically not allowing us to fit where we're supposed to fit. And I think there's a lot of different emotions. For example, rejection. You were rejected over and over again, and maybe what kind of material? Maybe there's a fire for the things because it's very hard to imagine that you will build something without fire. And sometimes you need to use fire. Other experiences, like when you look into your life, when did you take responsibility? And I think that this is a beautiful thing when I think about what kind of material could be responsibility. Like experiences that I was put in responsibility or I chose to be responsibility, choose responsibility. Maybe it's the bricks. So the more times you chose responsibility, the more times you put on the responsibility in your life, Maybe those are the bricks that you have that material to really build a beautiful house. Because we need to have wood, we need to have bricks, and we need to have steel. In that moment, we will have a beautiful, beautiful house of different structures. Because if we just experience one thing, it will not allow to really develop the things that we need. And at the same time, with success, success is experience as well. And success is potentially the fuel. Fuel, because if we want to build a massive house, we will need to have fuel. We need to have cars and bring in materials. Like there's so many things. But if we have just fuel and we use that for wrong things, it might be that we have fuel to build a house, but when we actually look into where we allocate that fuel, we allocate to the things that doesn't serve us. Because when we look into our energies, I always say that energy is the most important resource, and fuel is extremely important, and where we allocate it is extremely important. And I think that last thing that I really want to mention from material side, because this is a very unique topic, and I think that I reflected on myself more on my life experiences and what kind of things it brought, because I said it's neutral experience. All the experience is neutral. That we put meaning on it. Is peace. What kind of experiences did brought peace? And peace, as I thought as a material, what could material could it be for it? It's water. Water, I think, is a beautiful thing because it fits everywhere. It's still. It could be running. It makes a beautiful sound when it's moving, and I think that's it's a flow, it's nourishment. But if you keep it and not allow it to move, I think that could lead to stagnation. And I think that is a beautiful thing when we always say, like, okay, what kind of materials did I received so far, and what kind of materials do I need? Because I think that when you really start looking at experiences are materials, neither good because steel, I said that is neither good nor bad. You just what you build with it. When you start to really look in your experiences as materials, now you start to look into what kind of things should I do right now to go and experience, expose myself, to develop myself, so I could have more different kind of materials in my life to build beautiful things. Because of course that's just an analogy, but I truly believe that the more experiences you have, meaningful experiences, the more building materials you have inside to develop yourself into the person that you want to see in front of the mirror every single day. So I hope you'll reflect on that because a beautiful thing. What kind of experience you have in your life and what kind of neutral materials that brought and what did you do with those neutral material and what you are willing to do, because it might be that in the storage you have a lot of material that you never used before because you just didn't know that from the experience in the past you can really use things today to develop your life. So I hope you just win and see you tomorrow.